Oh, welcome into the Sharp App Countdown to Kickoff show, hosted by your boy Al Walsh. You can follow me on Twitter at 14AWalsh, but make sure you guys are following the Sharp App first. They're on Twitter at the Sharp App. Also, go to sharp.app. That way you could download the Sharp App. You can track your bets. You can see what all the best guys here on the Sharp App are doing on their particular bets, how they're doing this season. And you could also match them up against yourself. Once again, go to sharp.app for that. You can also go to sharpbets.app and get some of the better tools that we have here at the Sharp app and use that to your advantage in making a bigger bankroll this season. Once again, sharp.app and sharpbets.app. All right, so NFL Wild Card Sunday coming up today. We've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers hosting the Philadelphia Eagles. So, of course, I had to bring my man Philly Godfather on for that one. He's going to be joining us here in just a minute. Lot of action on the Eagles here today, right? And I think earlier in the week, some of us were like, man, look at that nice and easy spread there for the Buccaneers. But a lot of injuries going on to the Bucs, which, we're going to talk about that with PG and see, kind of how the market's moved based on that right there. But little bit of a scary proposition for my Bucs today. Not going to lie. I don't like what the numbers are saying, but I'm going to go out there and root my ass off nevertheless. A couple of injuries to look into in this game. This is a little important because, now the Buccaneers down Leonard Fournette, Ronald Jones in this one, right? So Keyshawn Vaughn, the second-year guy out of Vanderbilt, he's going to have a big role today. We're going to have to see how that lines up. You also got Le'Veon Bell. Gio Bernard is back off IR this week as well. So a lot of different things that we have to get into in that game. I'm going to get into it with PG real quick in a couple seconds here. But don't forget, too, we got 49ers at Cowboys and then Steelers at Chiefs going on today. So huge day of NFL action. I'm going to bring PG in right now since we're here. We don't got to keep the man waiting any longer. PG was nice enough to come on the show. I don't know where the hell the week went, by the way, but it was Saturday yesterday, and I was like, holy shit, I don't got any guests lined up. Our boys are playing each other, so we definitely got to talk about this one. I assume you're going to be on the Eagles on this one, as a lot of sharp bettors are.
Yeah, I took them actually early in the week. I took some +6 in the first half. And I also, when the game went to 9.5, it had reached 9.5. I bought it up to 10. These two teams, they're not the same teams that face each other in first, was it week 6 of the NFL season? Yeah. You're missing so many players. You're missing Brown, Fournette. You're missing Godwin. And those three guys were more than 50% of their offensive production in that game against the Eagles. Now, the Eagles really didn't have an identity yet. They were still trying to find out who they were. But down the stretch, you saw how they could run the ball. Now, they beat a bunch of bad teams, and the only team above 500 they beat all season have been the Saints. But like I said, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are not the same team. The Eagles are not the same team. Tampa Bay's all banged up. And at +10, I thought it was a gift. +6 in the first half. I think it's down to 4.5 now. That was – I mean, if the Eagles can't cover the first half, they're going to have a hard time covering the second half. I thought that was a gift as well, +6. So these are two teams that it's going to be a tough game, especially then you incorporate all the weather factor, the winds, 20-mile-an-hour winds, 30-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Eagles need a dog's life here.
Just another beautiful day in Tampa, That's how it goes down there. So you mentioned that prior meeting between the teams, and remember, it came down to a 2-point conversion at the very end for the Eagles to cover the spread in that game. If I'm not mistaken, it closed at 7. Eagles get that 2-pointer at the end there. They cover against the Bucs. But yeah, so much. I mean, all these injuries that are going on for the Buccaneers. You got a lot in the secondary too. Some of the cornerbacks, we might be down our 1, 3, and 4 in this one. I haven't seen the updated injury report since, we kind of been going here, but I'm going to get that here in a little bit. And hopefully the Bucs guys are back. I saw Levante David got activated off the IR. So that's good news for my Tampa Bay Buccaneers. By the way, everyone, I do have other wardrobe. It's just, this is my Sunday Bucs garb. I got the same one every Sunday. So, all right, so got that on the Eagles. By the way, a lot of the Sharp app coaches, they are also on the Eagles today. So, this is going to be a total team effort there. I grabbed 47. Well, I bought it up to 47 earlier in the week. Or I'm sorry, 47.5 earlier in the week. And then total actually went from 46 to 47 today, which is pretty interesting considering all the wind. What do you make of that?
Well, the game originally opened up 49, and there was some sharp money that went under 40.
Yeah.
It reached as low as 45, and it's been slowly ticking back up. A little resistance in the market. They're looking in the middle of the game, but that's a huge middle. Over 45 and under 49, you got some numbers in there, key numbers when it comes to the total. I think the game stays under. It's up to 47 again. With the public, chiming in, you might see a 47.5 pop up, and if you see that, take the under 47.5.
By the way, I forgot, since you guys haven't been doing your YouTube show, is this a good therapeutic for you to get back on the camera?
I mean, I've done so much stuff, national radio, TV, and now we're doing actually a movie about my life. We start in the spring. Yeah. So that's going to be out. It's a major motion picture. It's not like a cheesy little,
that's good. That's good. I was trying to go to the theaters. I wasn't trying to watch a movie straight to DVD. So who's playing PG?
Well, we didn't start the casting yet. We got a table read right after the Super Bowl, February 15th. We got some friends of mine coming down for that. And then we're going to start, casting. And hopefully we get some big names in the movie. And it's a great movie. I think the script's awesome. And get ready. Get your popcorn ready.
Very cool. And remember, I get that role as the bartender, right?
Absolutely, man. You're in.
All right.
Exactly producer on the movie, so you're in. Don't worry about it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Could you imagine, like, the people I grew up with? How the hell did that guy get in a movie? Like, I know the right people, man. All right, let's talk about San Fran Dallas real quick, because this is actually my favorite one of the week. I really like San Francisco plus 3.5. I even sprinkled a little bit of money line here on San Francisco, but curious as to your thoughts on this one.
I mean, San Francisco has been smoking hot. They've won 7 of the last 9 down the stretch. They're the only team remaining in the playoffs that's top 5 in yards per play and the opponent yards per play metric, and that's big. Tampa Bay's close. They're number 2 and number 6. The Cowboys, a little bit healthier of a team than San Fran. Jimmy G still has that finger issue. They're going to shoot him up, but he looks like he's almost 100%. Defensively, San Francisco's, I think, the better team. At 3.5, I'm leaning towards San Francisco. There has been some sharp money that laid some 3 on the Cowboys, but I don't agree with it. I think I'm going to end up with San Francisco plus 3.5 on my ticket.
Yeah, I mean, dude, San Francisco's probably been the one team that I bet on more than anybody this season. And, time and time they come through, even last week against the Rams, man, where you thought they were completely dead in the water. And, the way I always look at the Rams, right? Like, I like watching film, but it almost feels like some of their running plays are like have as much design as a pass play. Like Kyle Shanahan is really creative in that way. So, and a lot of things they do with juice check out of the backfield and stuff like that. So, they've been rocking and rolling.
And let's be honest, Shanahan's so much better than McCarthy. So,
yeah,
coach's input is huge in these type of games. And, at 3.5, the game's a coin flip. I mean, on neutral field, it'd be a pick 'em. Dallas coming off that big win against a bunch of third stringers on the Eagles, so might be a little bit of letdown there.
You got to imagine too, these Niners fans riding that high. They're like, "Shit, we traveled down to LA. Now we're going out to Dallas, baby." I actually a lot of the guys that I watch football with on Sundays are Niners fans, so I'm like heavily dialed into their whole way of life over there. But no, it's
a big Niners a couple years ago when they played Kansas City in the Super Bowl. I had futures on them at 28-1. I had them to win the West, win the division, and that game was a little funny with no offensive holding calls on the Chiefs side of the ball. But it is what it is. You know what I mean?
I'm not crazy. I tell people about that all the time on that 3rd and 10 where Tyreek got the big play. There was massive holding on that play.
7 guys holding. He had like 20 seconds to throw the ball. It was crazy.
Absolutely. So this total at 51 is the highest of any game on the entire wild card weekend slate. What do you make of that?
It's square to go over, but how can you not? I mean, you got 2 teams that can really score. I mean, Dallas had the most points in the NFL this year. San Francisco's got weapons everywhere. Debo, they got Kittle. I mean, if the game's going to go over this weekend, it's got to be this one. It's in a dome. It's square, but I kind of like the over.
Nice little San Francisco 27-24, or like right on the dot there. I feel like that's what we're going to see, right on 51, something like that. All right, so for the nightcap, Pittsburgh at the Chiefs. I'm liking the Chiefs in this one just because we saw this same exact matchup a couple weeks ago, and I feel like nothing's changed. How are you viewing this one?
I mean, Pittsburgh's offensively, they started slow all season, so I laid some 6.5 in the Chiefs first half. The problem is the betting public's over Kansas City, so full game. I mean, it's up to 13. If it reaches 14, the backdoor swings wide open with some goofy touchdown or something crazy at the end. I just don't know if Pittsburgh can hang with them offensively. I know Kansas City's a little banged up. Pittsburgh's got a great pass rush. They're going to have to get to Mahomes, or else this could get ugly, man. It's a big number. I would never lay. I don't want to say never, but I hate laying over 14. In the wild card weekend on any team. But if Kansas City gets ahead early, it's going to be hard for Pittsburgh to come back.
Yeah, I was just doing a show before I did this one, and the best line that I heard all week is that Ben Roethlisberger throws footballs like he throws gallons of milk, right? that thing ain't going down the field anywhere. So I feel like that's a good spot to be, especially with the Chiefs. I'm playing DFS today, so I got the Chiefs defense. I think they're going to turn it up. Nice amount of sacks, couple turnovers here. It's just, we saw this, we saw this matchup in the same stadium, same everything that we're basically going to see. And I don't see anything changing. I mean, the Pittsburgh was just absolutely helpless in that matchup.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for them to put up points. I also bet the under 47 for some baby peanuts if you're looking to bet the total as well. But yeah, that's what I'm on.
Yeah, there's actually this absolutely blew my mind. So over the last 3 weeks, Tyreek Hill has 9 catches on 15 targets for 61 yards. So does Ben get him going here today? If you're gonna make big moves in this postseason, you got to get your boy Tyreek involved, because Chiefs, they're gonna win today, right? Like I don't even want to hear that Pittsburgh upset talk, but
I hope so.
A win.
I got a big parlay with the Packers to win it all. I need Mahomes to leave. I need Brady to leave. I need all the big boys to leave, so that has a chance of winning.
No, but I'm just saying, in this, in this sort of setting, right? Like the Chiefs probably want that matchup against the Bills too. So a Chiefs win locks in that 2-3 matchup there between the two AFC heavyweights. So, I mean, that would be just an absolutely phenomenal day. What's on deck for the rest of the day, PG?
That's it. Just watching football, hanging out with the family, out here on the farm, Bonanza, and just having some fun, man.
How's the alpacas doing?
Alpacas are great, man. Some of the most beautiful, docile animals in the world. My German shepherds sometimes mess with them. I got a bunch of animals on the farm, but it's fun. It's I look at my backyard and it's like a Norman Rockwell painting. It's beautiful. There's life moving around. There's animals. There's birds. It's just a good time.
See, our dogs would not be able to play because. So my dog got bit by a German Shepherd probably when he was like 5 months old. It was my buddy's, it was, he got bit in the ear, but every time he sees a German Shepherd now, ape shit, bro. It's like, rah, 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 like, so we got 2 on our block. So it happens all the time, but I'm sure he's a great one. Georgie's going to get calmed down eventually. PG, I appreciate you coming on today on short notice. Thank you very much. And of course, go Bucs, baby.
Good luck, guys.
All right, there he goes. PG is one of the best in the business. Absolutely just so approachable. I know a lot of people, might be trying to further their career in sports betting and stuff like that. PG's just been absolutely phenomenal with me, whether he's coming on the show or if I got any sort of, tips or advice or anything like that. Guy's just been absolutely phenomenal. So big thanks to him for coming on the show today. Now, we were talking about this with the Bucs-Eagles game, sort of, the injuries that are going on in this one. And if you all would like to follow along, we go to Pro Football Doc. I love this guy, right? He's got so much great information up there with all the different injuries up for each game, sort of, how each injury will affect the way, whatever way the line goes, or sort of how, the overall game will be. And, listen, it doesn't paint a pretty picture for the Buccaneers today. I mean, sorry, I got the hiccups, but, Leonard Fournette was just such a huge piece of this Tampa Bay offense. And, you take that out now we're putting in Gio Bernard, I would assume, on most downs because he's the most familiar with the Bucs offense, right? Like Le'Veon Bell, he had a pretty good game there, week 17, week 16 even. I think he had a couple catches there against the Jets. So, he's acclimating himself into the offense. However, Gio Bernard was just an absolute stud for Tom Brady at some points throughout the season. We're in a couple of those games where the Buccaneers were trying to come from behind. and they knew that they would be more in passing downs rather than running situations. So this is going to be a real challenge for the Buccaneers today to try to get this done. I mean, as I mentioned, Vaughn probably going to be the guy that's getting most of the carries within the offense, but it's going to be that interesting dynamic there to see Gio Bernard, Le'Veon Bell. How are those guys going to combine to go against the Eagles defense today? So, listen, as I mentioned, I am not feeling comfortable at all today about the Bucs, right? I think the Eagles cover the spread. As I just mentioned here on the Sharp app, you got pretty much all the coaches that are on the Eagles today. Geek is on the Eagles. We got Statsational who's on the Eagles. Who else did we see that was on there today? Why is this escaping my mind? I believe Rich even there. By the way, Rich coming on the program here in a little bit, 12:25. We're going to have Rich on to break down his picks for all the 3 games. Get some Sharp app representation there. But a lot of the different coaches here on the Eagles today. And listen, I don't blame them. Even though I'm wearing this sweatshirt, I do not believe them. The money line was a little auspicious, if you will, to kind of start the week, and I just don't see the Bucs covering this one. I talked with PG, who was just on earlier in the week. We talked about maybe like a 20-13, maybe a 20-16 game, 20-17, even something like that. But you got to think about the different multiples. I got under 47.5, right? Because, if we take that number at 47.5, all right, we have a couple different outcomes right there, right? We've got a 27-20 game, right? That could potentially get us there to the under. Maybe a 24-21, something like that, right? But think about your multiples if you're going to buy up for a total in this one. So glad to hear that PG loved the San Francisco 49ers against the Cowboys today. That's always great to hear. Highest total of the week there at 51. We got the indoor situation. Seeing a lot more 3.5s out there on the sports books now, right? So I think enough people saw Dallas at -3 and they said, all right, I'm going to hop in on this. This is the time to do it. But, again, it's a correct number that you get with yourself there on the 49ers because, again, right, we're talking about a field goal. If you want to buy up to +4, I even like that too, because then we start getting into that territory of, all right, 27-23. Then you give yourself a little backboard, right? So you're not going to be up against that hook there. But you could also maybe go a +4.5 if you want to do that. I actually like this a lot. We can make a live bet on there. Why not? Right? I'm in Jersey. It's legal. On DraftKings, that's where all my money is on this fine Sunday. But if we want to make this Niners +4.5, -140, I don't think that's the end of the world. I paid up plenty for points last night. I had a little Buffalo -3, Patriots money line as well. So these are, just when you're thinking about the different numbers out there, make sure that you give yourself a backboard and you know what you're able to do. We're going to see if Rich is available to come on now. We can get him in here. All right. So that last game of the night too, Kansas City against Pittsburgh. My goodness. I'm going to bring in Rich right now. What's going on? Rich, the people want to follow you on Twitter at JFan303. Rich from the East Coast, like myself, living out in Colorado right now in the Rocky Mountains. How you doing out there on this lovely Sunday?
Not bad. Yourself?
Oh, man, we're experiencing that Colorado weather, 10 degrees out here in Jersey. It was this morning, but we're picking back up now. Got my Bucs in a little bit of trouble here against the Eagles. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, I think the Eagles probably cover the spread at this point. Now you're incorrect. I actually have the Bucs money line as part.
Sorry about that. Sorry.
So I'm like the only person on the Bucs, but when I gauge these 2 games before the Fournette news, the Chiefs sort of like if they don't win by a touchdown, like come on, man. Like I remember we were on like the opposite side of that game. Like maybe the Steelers can cover. On a day when the Chiefs, Tyreek Hill had just returned from COVID and Kelsey was out. And was it in the Steelers just looked awful. I mean, they just couldn't get anything done. This is the same matchup. So, I think that's generous, a touchdown. that like Big Ben's able to somehow keep it close. Some balls, someone fumbles a kickoff or, some crazy stuff happens. So what I did for the parlay before the Fournette news was I parlayed the Tampa Bay money line.
Okay.
I didn't take any spread or anything for sure. Figure at the end of the day, I mean, as it is, Brady's dropping back, 40 to 50 times a game. So, I mean, the Eagles know pretty much like what's going to happen. It's just a matter of can they stop it? A lot of throws to Gronk. I feel they're going to be able to exploit the, Eagles' weakness in that respect. Because I don't know who the Eagles are going to use to cover him, even at this age. So, I think that this is going to be classic Brady today. What we've seen New England teams where they're missing skill guys and whatever, but he can work the short passes. He's going to use, Gronk is at safety valve. I mean, they still have Mike Evans, who's explosive. And don't forget Rashad Perryman, who, this guy's had great games DFS-wise in the past.
I didn't forget. They did.
So, again, it's a big loss, but I mean, of all the skill positions or positions on a field, in terms of replacement player, I think running back is one I don't really emphasize as much, even unless it's like Derrick Henry or something versus his replacement. I mean, that's, Adrian Peterson with, back when he was in his prime with the Vikings and they'd like make the playoffs 9-7 or something where like the running back is, taking on 25, 30 carries a game and they're just, basically the team's blueprint. Fournette has certainly had games he's propelled the Bucs through. I don't know if you would call him the Bucs blueprint
savior.
He's definitely had games he's won for them. But ultimately, I think we know who the Bucs savior is for sure. And
of course. But no, absolutely. I mean, like I could not believe sort of the production that Fournette was getting at the beginning of the season. I was one of these people at the beginning of the season who, I have to admit it. Like, first of all, I won a fantasy football title, so I don't want to hear shit about this, all right? But I was a guy who liked Ronald Jones over Fournette, right? Just because Jones entering a contract year, Fournette, a guy that got his Super Bowl, you would have thought, all right, he took a beating at the end of last year with all the work that he was getting. Like, all right, maybe this is an off year for him. And I guess we're kind of seeing that with the injury at the end of the year. And he had a huge workload throughout the year. I couldn't believe how many catches that he was getting this season. So, again, missing him today is absolutely huge. But this is funny because Keyshawn Vaughn, he's sitting there on DraftKings today at 4,500. I think he's going to be the lead carry back for the Bucs, right? So if they get that ball down near the end zone, he's certainly a candidate to get the ball in the end zone. I know you're playing some DFS today, correct? So what do you think about Mr. Vaughn here?
So that's what I did right before I came on this show, just sort of like final thoughts on DFS. And I'm only playing on Yahoo today. They had a $15 site credit match contest.
Okay.
$7 everyone wins, where I think the worst you could do is you get, half your money back or something. So
by the way, I just want to say, hold on, before Rich, by the way, always has that arbitrage alley article. So make sure you check that out on sharp.app and sharpbets.app. You're going to find that article highly useful in terms of getting some money out there and some of the free money and using it to your advantage. But go on. Sorry.
So, sort of tough in terms of budgeting. They do have on Yahoo $10 Perryman. I felt like he was someone I wanted to slot in there. And what I did, I didn't go with Vaughn. I didn't take Miles Sanders or any cheap running backs there. I spent up Darrell Williams, who's moderately priced over there, and Eli Mitchell in the running back slots. So it was sort of like, what do I do? Chiefs or Bucs? Who do I want to build my stack around? Because that's where, all the big money players, everything are. And originally I had a Chiefs stack, but I like what I did. Now I have Tampa Bay. I have heavy Brady, Evans, Perryman, and Gronk. So, I'm looking at it this way that, they're not going to run the ball much. Vaughn, I think the last couple games, even with guys out, he's 10 carries here there for 30 yards. They're not running a lot. They, basically they know who they are now. So I figure, if he just wants to drop back, throw the ball 50 times, maybe Kansas City is slightly lower scoring. I do have the Kansas City defense. You had mentioned that. I have Williams in there. I do have Tyreek Hill. So, I don't know if you want to overload and say, I need Hill, Kelsey, this guy, that guy.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a winning strategy today.
I
one thing you didn't consider too, in terms of and I listened to Philly Godfather and everyone, is that if there was anything narrative wise working against the Buccaneers and Brady today, I mean, if anyone ever upsets them in the playoffs, it's these NFC East, opponents. I mean, the Eagles themselves, probably give them some nightmares, Philly specials and Mr. Big Dick Nick Foles, we've seen bigger, there's got to be something against the Giants or a Philly team or something, especially when they're favored, that gives him a little bit of hesitation.
You know what also I don't like, and this is going to be like completely oddball off the wall type stuff, but I feel like this Sunday, 1:00, right? The first game historically of the Sunday slate in the first round of the playoffs is always an upset. Like, I know, like last year we saw the Ravens over the Titans, but remember Brady got upset the one year against the Ravens at home, like on a Sunday. I just always feel like this window is like vulnerable for the upset. But again, you take a look at the Bucs money line, like last night, for instance, right? The Bills, we'll call them like minus 225 on the money line, like at kickoff, right? That's minus 225. Like the Bucs are minus, I don't know, like 300, like right around there for most of the week. And that's against the Eagles. Like something really fishy is up here, but the guys at the Sharp app, they followed it. They smelled it. By the way, highest viewership of any show today. So thank you very much. And I don't know if it was a coincidence or whatever, but it was the minute that Rich came on, the viewership skyrocketed here. So very cool. Thank you very much, everyone. All right. So we talked a little bit about sort of the first and the last game, but let's talk about the meat and potatoes game of the day. The San Francisco 49ers with the Dallas Cowboys. Sort of what's your thinking in this one?
I think San Francisco presents some problems for Dallas, in terms of like some of the zone reads and some of the things that Dallas does. They're going to have some issues. And I think, a San Francisco team is always very gritty too. They can move the ball several different ways. I mean, Debo, he's basically, as the announcers like to say, a Swiss Army knife, moving it.
Yeah.
Usually he's healthy. I think, I don't have any official plays on this game. I could see anything happening here. But one thing I'll say is these teams have played everyone tough. I hate to go back to the Eagles for one more time, but
go ahead.
When I put the play out, it was minus 365, right, on the Eagles, and for all Fournette's out and whatever else, it's only down to what, like a minus 335, so minus 30 off of some huge thing. Mm-hmm. So we also have to consider who have the Eagles played. They've played like the crappiest teams possible. Yeah. Nothing like, Tampa recently. So just go back to that. But to return to Dallas and San Francisco, I think this is anyone's game. I think whichever team wins this is probably going to get a lot of good energy out of it. A lot of momentum. What's funny is they use the old statistic the other day on ESPN. They're like, whoever wins this game in the playoffs historically, like, almost always goes on to win the Super Bowl. Because you figure the last time you have, 49ers Cowboys playoff games, when we were young, and, they're just like every year dynasties.
So it is interesting, right? If you think about the playoff picture after this, because God forbid, oh my God, I'll lose my mind. I'm sure I'm going to be watching the game with some Eagles fans today, but if they win outright, that means they're locked in to play the Packers next round, right? So if you're a Green Bay fan, you are absolutely rooting for the Eagles today, because that's essentially like 2 bye weeks that you get there. Listen, don't worry about my banged up Buccaneers. All right. We'll try to get it there. But, and I think a Buccaneers win would cement, let's see. So they're the 2 seed. Goodness gracious. I don't know. I have to take a look at that scenario, but
how shocking would it be?
An Eagles win would set it up against the Packers.
We'd have to cancel. Why? I'm having like a mental, what is it? Man in the Arena? Or
yep.
We'd have to cancel the series if the Eagles won today. Just like end it right now. Basically all this legacy talk and like everything. I just don't see that.
So
Tampa them up so much that like almost like we're like overlooking Tom fucking Brady. Like think about that. Like we're like, actually, but the Eagles, guys, the Eagles have been running the ball more, and the Eagles, they're like, good at this. And
The Bucs do have a lot of injuries. That is the one thing
Yes,
that, we're not getting the Bucs A squad today. Although, listen, when Brady's playing quarterback, that's certainly the A squad. I watched plenty of games when Jameis Winston was playing quarterback, and let me tell you, there was no A squad at any point during that. So unbelievable with the stuff there with the Eagles. I think, I'm curious about this with you too. So you mentioned, I know we're going to jump around a little bit here, but you mentioned it earlier, Tyreek Hill in that Steelers at Chiefs game. So over the last 3 games, right, these are his combined stats, 9 catches on 15 targets, right? 15 targets for Tyreek Hill in 3 games is unacceptable for a total of 61 yards. His prop today, over 69.5 receiving yards. You mentioned that you got him in DFS, so I assume you think this is a breakout spot for Mr. Hill, but what did you see in the matchup here?
I mean, it's not a good matchup, but I mean, he finds ways to line up different, like he'll come out like little reverses and he'll move in the slot and he'll do whatever. If he gets the ball in his hands, I mean, he always take it the distance. So I think for a tournament, when you want upside, I mean, you look at some of the wide receivers you have out there too. I mean, Debo, I mean, figure he's chalky. So, and he's expensive. So you're either paying up for him or fading him. And then who do you have? Mike Evans. I mean, like you have CD. He's been struggling. I mean, really, you don't have a whole lot at the wide receiver position. I mean, so I think tight end, is a little bit. If Kelsey and Gronk and Goddard could have a good day, and there are like a couple guys you could in there, cheap guys you could throw in there. Whereas I just think like the difference replacement wise, I mean, someone like Tyreek Hill, can just win you a tournament today. But I don't think you stack Kansas City. Mahomes just has not been airing the ball enough. And I see Williams just playing a large part in this game.
I am an idiot because I had this great prop. It's out there on DraftKings. Debo to get 1 rushing, 1 receiving touchdown plus 700. And so he's done it twice this season, right? He's done it once against the Seahawks, once against the Rams, both of which were, very important games within the division. I think, again, your most important game, your playoff game, you're going to give Debo the ball. So I think, listen, I think he's without a doubt going to get a receiving touchdown. Like that's happening today. It's the rushing that, I think we have to pause on. But again, biggest game of the season, you're going to give the ball to your best player. So that's my, line of thinking in this. Plus 700 on DraftKings. So I'm taking the shot.
I faded him on Yahoo. He was $36. And by comparison, most of them, like Tyreek Hill was 24. Mike Evans was 26. So I was able to build like a really nice balance lineup not going there. Now, one bet I posted, I didn't point out yet, is regards to Kansas City game as well.
Okay.
Caesars has a super boost for $25. It's Pat Mahomes over 249.5 yards passing, and then 1.5 passing TDs, so 2 passing touchdowns.
Okay.
Which, if you did that as a same game parlay over on DraftKings, it comes out at minus 110. It's boosted for the 25 to plus 130. So I figure, for the $25. Does Pat Mahomes throw for at least 250 yards and 2 passing touchdowns tonight? Yes, I would say, unless he gets hurt or something, again, it would be quite stunning to see, some sort of, it's like 14-10 or something in the fourth quarter. And, the Steelers are driving down, I don't know. We had some crazy stuff recently, but that would be pretty stunning.
All right. I practiced it. Where the hell am I here? I preached it. So I had to practice it. Debo, he's in there for 1 touchdown, receiving and rushing, plus 750 to win 400. So let's have a day.
Yeah, I think someone had asked me something about a same game parlay for that game. I had Debo anytime touchdown, I think like over 20 rushing yards or something like that.
All right.
Money.
Looking here at the final injury report, trying to check a couple of things out here. Goddamn TweetDeck got a lot going on today. Don't these people understand that I'm trying to find injury news and not, see their bets? I don't, come on, guys, put your bets in earlier in the week. What anything else? So Ben Roethlisberger was an interesting one too, under 229.5 passing yards. Seems like we're going all in Chiefs defense here. Should we load that one up too?
Oh, no, because I could see him. I mean, that seems like a doable over for him there. Like, especially given the potential game script where, I mean, Najee Harris really hasn't been too effective on that O-line, hasn't been very good run-wise. I mean, they did all season. So, I could see him airing out the ball a lot. That's why I needed the extra money to go up from Vaughn and Sanders to Deontay Johnson, who's averaging, at least double-digit targets pretty much every game. I could see like the Chiefs, sit back second half. Now they're up, multiple scores. Basically the clock is running and they're letting them have those middle of the field throws, and I could see like Ben getting a lot of yards, maybe score that way.
Yeah. I mean, Deontay Johnson was my boy. I had him on both fantasy teams this year. So he was the only guy that I had on both teams this year. So I watched a ton of them this year. I mean, the guy is absolutely fantastic. Wait till he gets an actual quarterback. But maybe Aaron Rodgers next year. Who knows?
They say the Broncos. We'll see. They're gonna make a push at least.
I don't know. All right, Rich. Any closing thoughts here for this Sunday before we get into it?
Hopefully, Eagles can cover and the Bucs can win, and we could all be happy. Right?
Yeah, y'all live in harmony.
I'll just take a win, man. I mean, that's it.
Yeah, that'd be all right. All right, Rich, thank you very much. Good luck on this Sunday. And you can find Rich on Twitter at JFan303. You can also find him in the Sharp app Discord channel. By the way, if you guys are not signed up with the Sharp app, make sure you do so. Sharp.app. Go to the Sharp Twitter at the Sharp app. You're going to find all the links over there to download everything, and you get signed up with the package service and all the picks from everybody that's in here. Everybody's in pretty good unison today, which is nice. Usually on the Sharp app, when that's the case and everybody's rocking and rolling on one side, that means we're in for a good day. All right, I'm going to clip the podcast here today at 12:37 on the East Coast. Bucs Eagles coming up here. Got to get out, watch that game. Not a lot of injury information, news, anything to update anybody. So everybody, good luck on this Sunday. Get every single penny that you can make. We're gonna need it, folks. We got more playoff weeks, so keep it up. Everybody, good luck today. I'm Al Walsh. You can find me on Twitter at 14a.walsh, and I am gone until next week. Peace.